So the rest of these games, guys, happened over the weekend. We saw some some surprising results, some not so surprising. A lot of goals, that's for sure. Let's go on to the Manchester City-Tottenham match, which ended 3-0 to Manchester City, the Premier League leaders, the expected champions. We'll go straight to their first goal. Rodri scoring the penalty, only just. Lloris will feel that he definitely should have saved that. I feel he should have. But City have had a bit of a problem with penalty takers, haven't they, this season? You know, De Bruyne's missed, Sterling's missed from the spot, Gundogan's missed from the spot, and Rodri only just about managed it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're just not taking penalties enough. They're too busy passing the ball about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're too busy trying to do the Barcelona philosophy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Really, just to pass it into the back of the net.
It is crazy though when you think about a team who are as good as City, who have so many quality players. They don't have a player who can score penalties consistently. You know, it's quite shocking.
Would not Aguero be the one taking the penalties usually?
I suppose he would. But even De Bruyne, you know, I'm surprised that he's not consistent from the spot with his quality.
De Bruyne.
It is surprising. But
I think, but De Bruyne, you can't. I mean, just because he's missed a few penalties, he's still a world-class player. I hate to say it, based on
penalties, it's a bit different, you know. He's still world. A lot of those players are still.
He's a quality. I can't believe Chelsea. Oh mate, I can't believe Chelsea literally sold him all because he wasn't performing.
You have to bring that up, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you look back at that time when we're going on to this now, we're kind of gone off topic a little bit, but De Bruyne back at Chelsea. I mean, I think that was Chelsea's biggest mistake out of the players that you could have said, oh, they shouldn't have let go, like Lukaku, Mo Salah, or out of all the players, I'd say De Bruyne is the one that Chelsea really messed up with. But it was just unfortunate that at the time he just couldn't get in the team and he wasn't given a chance at all, you know. But it was unfortunate, but yeah, we definitely should have given him more time. Salah and Lukaku, I've never really regretted too much, to be honest with you. But I think De Bruyne is the main one.
De Bruyne. I mean,
I always thought Lukaku was pretty good when he went to Everton.
He was,
I thought he was good when he went to Everton.
Didn't he go to West Brom as well?
Yeah,
he went to West Brom. He did really well at West Brom. He was getting it. I think he scored 17 goals with West Brom.
Earlier I was watching the highlights of that game when West Brom drew 5-5 with United in there, into Alex's last game in charge.
Oh, shut up.
God, what a game that was. And Lukaku scored 2, I think.
Oh, shut up.
Back to that penalty incident, though.
Yes.
I actually, the actual incident to get the penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was a penalty. I don't know what you guys think, but for me, that's a free kick to Spurs.
You think? Well, it was Sterling, wasn't it? I'm just gonna watch it again, actually.
No, it was Gundogan who just got tapped on the leg and fell over.
Gundogan
stepped on I can't remember who it was, but the Tottenham player's Achilles, and then got tapped in the leg afterwards, and then it was like, well, I got to hit the deck, and it was given.
Yeah, no, I do remember actually now. I got to say that was a bit soft, yeah. I didn't...
It should be...
Yeah, I don't know. Could have been a free kick to Tottenham. Could have easily gone the other way. When I first saw it, I didn't think it was a penalty. Yeah.
Gundogan steps on the Achilles. Who is it that he steps on? Do you see? But there's a Tottenham player. Whoever the Tottenham player was that came in with a challenge. Gundogan messes up.
Yeah, it was Højbjerg.
Højbjerg. Yeah, Gundogan fails with the skill he's trying to do, and then literally, I don't know why, but he all of a sudden just brings his right foot way too far forward and then ends up stepping on the Achilles.
That's very
of
true.
Højbjerg.
I'm just having another look at it now. Yeah.
That is a foul.
Yeah.
That's a reckless foul actually as well. To be fair, like what the hell is his foot doing over there?
Yeah, and you can see why
he shouldn't even be
Højbjerg
anywhere
was
near there.
so surprised at that. Yeah.
I think I'm looking at the penalty now.
Yeah, I can see your point, Skander. He messed it up, and then he did inadvertently. No, I don't think obviously purposefully, but inadvertently stepped on.
But why is his foot there? Why is his like the thing is I don't. It makes no sense for his foot to be that far forward.
That was not a penalty.
Do you know what I mean? Like it makes no sense for his foot to be that far forward. It's almost as if he's putting it there to try and put it in an area where it could get kicked. If that makes sense, that's the way it looks at me. He's sticking his foot there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's trying to foul, but I think he's trying to stick his foot in between the legs of Højbjerg.
Oh man,
Højbjerg kicks his leg.
No.
I genuinely think that's what he's trying to do. He's looking for a foul, but in the process of that, he's stamped on the Højbjerg's Achilles because of his recklessness in trying to get a penalty.
It really Godwin a foul on Højbjerg.
And then he goes down. He gets tapped on the leg after he's just stamped on his Achilles. He just gets tapped on the leg, and he rolls around crying after he's the one who's literally stamped on someone else's Achilles.
No, I do agree. I do agree with what you're saying, Skander. I think he stepped on his Achilles. What was He
hasn't stamped on the Achilles. He's not stamped on the Højbjerg's Achilles. Well, actually, no.
No, he has, Joey. Going back to what you said though, Skander, about his foot being in an unnatural position. What do you mean, Gundogan's foot? Because if you do, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think it's a very natural position. Yeah. It's just I don't like. It's not meant at all. Højbjerg's foot comes across him and he steps down.
Again, this is VAR. Simple.
I think it is unnatural. I genuinely do. The ball's all the way to his left. Why is his foot going all the way forward? He's trying to drag the ball back. He's failed. But if he's trying to drag the ball back, his right foot shouldn't be going all the way that far forward. I think he's literally done that on purpose because he sees Højbjerg charging in, and I think he's trying to stick his foot in a position where he could get contact and then fall over. And that's literally what's happened.
Slightly further forward, I think. Yeah, I think there is a bit of cleverness involved, actually. Yeah, slightly further forward.
It's a bit of cleverness. It's a bit of wickedness, really. And I feel like it.
He should be sent off.
It should be sent off. It should have been a penalty. It should have been sent off for a dive.
He did get tapped on the leg, but the thing is, he's fouled him first, and he's put his foot in the area, he's intentionally put his foot in that area in between trying to put them in between the legs of Højbjerg to try and cause that contact. So it's reckless. He's then stamped on his Achilles because of his intentional recklessness, and then once he's got tapped on the leg after he knows he's stamped on someone's Achilles, he's then fallen down crying for a penalty. It's a red card for me.
Yeah, I think
honestly
VAR has done itself a big disservice in the last 2 weeks or so. We were talking about the Werner penalty recently, weren't we, against Sheffield United? We were saying that was definitely more an offence by the striker, and he should have got sent off there, Werner. And then this is kind of like a similar case. I think VAR with penalties, maybe in general, has just been very disappointing in recent weeks, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
It's not so much VAR, but it's the people using it as well. And here's the thing, footballers, trust me, they are getting so much more clever on this now when it comes to diving in the box.
Yeah.
How many penalties are we seeing? It's almost as every single game there's a penalty. I don't remember that 15 years ago, every single game there was a penalty. But it feels like it's just it's common nature now, and trust me, and this is with like VAR as well. It's like the tiniest little touch, and it's a penalty. Players are already diving beforehand. Now they're taking advantage of that, and I think a lot of them have stepped up on their cheating tactics, and I call it cheating because it is. They are literally they're doing all these little things like what Gundogan's done there. He's just put his foot in an area where it's a reckless place to put it because he's endangering his opponent, but he's doing it because he knows there's going to be contact if he puts it there. And obviously the refs, I don't think they play the game enough to notice that what the players are doing, these sly tactics. They just see contact and must be penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like little touches as well. Like you're barging someone, or you put your hand on someone's shoulder, and then players just like all of a sudden they can't stand on their 2 feet and they fall over, and it's or a slight little nudge throws a player, like a big massive player just throws them onto the floor. But it doesn't happen. They're just basically exaggerating it, and they're doing all these little tricks where they like the players with the ball are putting their legs or their feet in dangerous areas so they can get contact. They're basically kicking the defenders in a sense, and then falling down. The referees don't see this.
Yeah.
And then on the VAR, I was just about to say VCR then. On the VAR, it's just ridiculous because they slow it down. But no matter how much contact there is, it's still kind of the fact that there's contact. There is contact there, but they can't tell how faint that contact is. We're going back to like the Martial penalty against
similar
against Southampton. We're going back to that, aren't we? If you think about it, it was just
David Luiz against Wolves.
David Luiz against Wolves, exactly. It's just it's just ridiculous. It's like players, if they see a defender, like you're saying, they're getting clever, and if they see a defender and they're behind him, or they know they're behind him or breathing down his neck, and they know that it's like, oh, if they touch me now, I could get a foul in the penalty area. If they touch me now, boom, I'm just going to go down.
Do you think these rules need to be reevaluated at the end of this season, guys? Because in the last few weeks, we've spoken a lot about penalty decisions, offsides, handball rule, and it's causing so much debate and controversy, which is good in a sense, but you know what I mean? But I think these decisions need to be reviewed at the end of this year.
Yeah, 100%. It's a contact sport. Football is a contact sport only when it's not inside the box. And it's stupid. It's a contact sport. It's just like, as soon as you're in the box, though, it's no contact. You're not allowed to touch each other. Nothing. Absolutely nothing is allowed to happen.
Exactly.
And it makes no sense whatsoever. It's football. It's a contact sport.
Also, the handball rule needs to be more clear.
Yeah, that needs to be reevaluated. Yeah,
100%. That's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I really don't.
We'll go on to an instance with that as well.
Players in the last few years have been kicking the ball at players' hands and just getting decisions their way because, well, look, it hit your hand, so players have been kicking the ball at players' hands.
Yeah,
exactly.
Did any of you see the Southampton Wolves match? Wolves' penalty with when it hit Ryan Bertrand on the hand.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was exactly what you were saying there, Skanda. I mean, there was another one as well. I'm just trying to think of a match. There was another instance. Continue with your point, guys, because I'm just trying to think of something.
Well, no, I just I think we're talking too much about penalty now, but it is getting ridiculous, and we all know that VAR needs to be reassessed at the end of this season, and also I think there's gonna need another curriculum in the referees book as well.
There was the Arsenal penalties.
Arsenal penalty, yeah.
Yeah, we had a shout for a penalty before the penalty we got. I would say it was a penalty. The keeper, I don't know if you saw it. The keeper.
Oh yeah, no, that was the
Saka came in. The keeper basically kicked the back of Saka's leg.
Yeah, that was a penalty. Yeah,
that's a penalty.
Yeah.
But before that, we had a penalty shout, and it wasn't given. And to be fair, I'm glad it wasn't given. I don't know if you guys remember seeing it. If you go watch the game, I think it's right after Aubameyang scored, I think. Saka goes down. It's a dive, in my opinion. Saka dived. And I'm glad it wasn't a penalty. I really am. But a lot of Arsenal fans are in uproar about this. They're like, well, I mean, a lot of them are going, well, it's clearly a penalty. Like, I don't understand. It's like almost as if a lot of fans don't understand as well, or they're being biased or something. But it's just like the defender comes in, and he barely touches Saka, barely, and Saka is just already onto the floor. He's just thrown his body to the floor. Saka's also kicked the floor. He's kicked the floor to trip himself up.
Yeah,
and then once he's falling down, you'll see that he then, with the same foot that he kicked the floor with, he then brings it up and in an unnatural position when he's falling and kicks the defender to make his fall complete his fall. And I don't know, it's a dive. It's clearly a dive. It should be carded for that. It should be a free kick the other way.
I
it's
agree.
Just happening too much.
Yeah, there should be punishment for players who do that and try and con the refs like that. I think you're right. I've just seen it again, and that would have been a huge slice of luck had Arsenal been given that, and the decision was stood. I agree with that. I still can't think of this other handball incident I saw this weekend. It might come to me a bit later, but yeah, I think
it was in that Southampton game, Southampton game.
I've got a feeling it was, yeah.
It happened on the other side, other box with the Wolves event, I think. So in that Southampton game, obviously you got the Bertrand one where it hit his hand, and that was a penalty. And then it was just after that, I think, in the other box. I can't remember who crossed it in. The Southampton player crossed it in, and then it hit a Wolves player on the hand, or on the elbow, should I say. And that wasn't given as a penalty.
No.
That one wasn't given as a penalty. I don't think it should have been. I think his arm was a little bit out, according to these rules that we're following.
What, Bertrand, you mean?
But not Bertrand, the one afterwards. We can talk about the Bertrand one.
Yeah.
I mean, but the one after the Bertrand one in the other box, I saw a Southampton player was offside, and as the cross came in afterwards, he sprinted in front of the defender. I would say he blocked his view, and then got out the way, and then the defender sort of just like, I don't know, obviously he couldn't see the ball, and then it's just sort of hit him in the arm. So I don't think that should be a penalty, because you had an offside player come into play and influence the game by getting in the way of the defender before it hit his arm.
Yeah.
But the Bertrand one again, like his hand was up.
They were up.
They're always given nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're always just given nowadays.
That's true. Maybe that one, I can understand it a little bit. He was turning his body away, but he just needed to be a bit more careful. But I still do stand by the fact that they need to be reviewed, because even though that was, by the letter of the law, a penalty, and his arm was kind of flailing out, I just the need to be so careful. I'm not sure if I agree with it, really. I think there should be a slight lenience in that area. You know?
Here's what I think. I think because we've all played football and we all understand these sort of things, just sort of natural position. When someone's coming in to kick the ball, but you're going in to try and block it, you do naturally shield the core, core of your body.
Yeah.
So you move your side to like your back or the side of your body in a way. And also when doing that, your arms are also sort of, they move as well, don't they?
Yeah.
They're not all the way in the air, but they do move. They're not right by your side, are they? And it's like refs don't see that. Refs just like, well, why is your hand up? Well, why do you mean your hand? What's wrong with it? Of course it's going to be up. If you play football, you will understand that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Slight lenience in that area.
There should be more indirect free kicks, because don't get me wrong, if someone shoots like that, it's a disadvantage if it hits someone's hand, which when it's slightly, out of their body's range, like just outside the body because of the natural positioning they're in to try and block it. So it's a bit unfair in that sense, but it shouldn't be a penalty. I would say it should be indirect free kick, because it's not fair on the defender, because obviously they don't mean to intentionally handball it like that, but they have blocked the shot a little bit. It's a bit unfair for the team that's had their shot blocked that could have gone in. So they should have an indirect free kick. It's not as harsh as a penalty, and I feel that's the fairest way we can go. We hardly ever use an indirect free kick. Why don't we actually start doing it?
I think that should be right. Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. I'm just looking at it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, of course.
That penalty shot after the Bertram one, the ball was kind of going through, wasn't it? And he blocked it. It was a bit unfortunate because he was trying to head it, Dendoncker, but he missed it with his head and it hit his arm instead. But I see what you mean. I think you meant Bertram was offside, didn't you, Skander?
No, I think it was another player. Another player came in front of him.
Oh,
if you see it, another player came in front of him. That player was offside.
Oh, yes.
Just before, just as the ball was kicked, and then he ran in front of the Donker, blocks his view, and then that's when the Donker puts his head down because he sort of he can't see the ball, and then it just hits his arm afterwards. Yeah,
see that one. It's unfortunate. I think the right call was not to give anything there. Yeah, because it's very unfortunate for both teams. Something you got to get on with, really. At the end of the day, I think that was the right call, just to sort of let it slip away.
That should have been a bit. If that were, in my opinion, that should have been a penalty.
Well, it was unfortunate for Dendoncker. He didn't obviously mean to, and from Southampton's point of view,
but he didn't mean to. He was turning around to try and block the shot. He was turning around to block the shot. So,
but there was a Southampton player that was offside when that ball was kicked in. He ran in front of the Wolves defender, blocked his view, and then got out the way, and then the ball hits the Wolves defender's arm, the elbow. So I feel like the offside player interfered. He's already interfered by doing what he's done.
Yeah, I'm taking that into consideration.
I don't think that would have happened. I don't think that would have happened had the offside player not interfered.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm taking that into consideration. That's the only reason I say it was the correct call. But yes, taking that into consideration.
If the Southampton player was onside, if he was onside and he did that, then it's a penalty in my opinion, because he's onside, he's allowed to be there, he's allowed to interfere that because he's onside. And so in my opinion, then it would be a penalty, because according to the rules, I'd say according to the rules it would have to be a penalty. I would just say indirect free kick though.
I do agree with that.
So that's what I would say.
Again, that's what VAR really need to assess. They need to what the referee, that's what the football federation should, or the FA, sorry, football association need to look into that. They need to literally, revise the
rules.
I'm looking revise the rules, and regulations, because it's just I don't think even the referees know what they're doing, and that's why
I don't think like they do.
You know what I mean? And it's just making referees' lives miserable. I mean, look at what's it Mark Riley?
Mike Dean.
Mark Riley. Mike Dean, he had to postpone his post because of the abuse he was getting. Because unless it's all because of VAR, and I feel like the referees are not getting enough support. They need more support. They need more people chatting. They need more communication and say, what do you think of this? What do you think? There should be why second, fourth officials called fourth officials? They should have an input, or they should have a second referee. They have a second referee to back them up. It's just, they need a whole reformation.
I think there's quite a few problems with that though, with the situation at the minute. I mean, so you've got VAR, you've got referees in the VAR, and then you've got the referee on the pitch, and the people in the VAR are saying what's happening, and then as a referee on the pitch, you're more inclined to listen to them, because whilst, you can have a look at it on the screen. Do you remember
before VAR, do you remember the time before VAR, and when they brought like a fifth official? And it's only in European games that they were having fourth officials.
Was it standing outside the box?
Standing where if they were to goal kick or a corner or something like that. They were standing.
Well, they would just be for penalty shots, weren't they? They were just there.
Yeah, as well, penalty shots as well. And I'm like, why can't you get them in again? You know what I mean? Get them in. Even though some of them were actually a bit useless, they were useless.
Yeah.
But and they were pretty pointless at the time. But now I feel like they need to train them people, just be like a second referee. To back the other referees up. You know what I mean? And like when the referee is getting hounded down by players, a second referee should come on the pitch and be like, "Oi, shut up," So referees.
I do think referees in football have
more protection.
Arguably the hardest job in any sport as referees, because never have I seen so much cheating or trying to trick the referee.
True.
I barely ever hear that in other sports. I mean, I don't know, you can probably name a sport that I don't really watch, but generally speaking, I don't really see tennis players trying to con the referee, or I don't see, cricket players.
Not as much,
rugby
definitely not as much.
players. I don't see it. I do not see it in other sports. I just see so much. In almost every single game, it's like every single player is trying to con the referee.
Maybe in basketball. Or something like that.
Yeah, you see it, but not as much. Plus, the referees in our game are being undermined so much nowadays, aren't they? They make a decision, but VAR says otherwise. They're being so undermined. It's kind of like the job of a referee means a lot less now, in a sense, because it's like, well, they make a decision, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's the final decision. Like, they're undermined.
Do you remember that time when it was the final? I think it was a United game. The final whistle went, and then they were like, well, hold on, VAR saw this. And to be fair, I think it was like a handball or something, but the final whistle had gone, and they were like, well, you know what, I know you're the referee on the pitch, and you did blow the final whistle, but...
That was the Brighton Man United match when United won 3-2.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Talk about undermining a referee. You undermine him after he's blown for the final whistle.
Yeah, scored a penalty in the last minute of the match when the final whistle had gone, Yeah,
it's just, I don't know. And it affects the referee's confidence as well. You're playing, imagine being a referee and you're playing, and then, and you make a decision, and all of a sudden someone's in your ear, you got that wrong, mate. And it's just like, well, what? And it's like, it's a penalty, call a penalty, have a look, and then you're looking and they see they got it wrong, and now they're second guessing themselves in the game. You want a referee, if they make a mistake, they're going to make a mistake. You want them at least to be confident in their decisions though throughout the game. If you're going to have someone telling them you're making a mistake, doing something wrong, and everything, and their decisions are getting overruled, they're not going to be as confident in their decisions. They're just all going to be a bit more dependent on VAR.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And they don't have protections, not really. I mean, they don't have interviews. I guess they don't have interviews and that and stuff. But it's hard, other than the FA or the Referee Federation, no one's defending them. No one likes them, and no one defends them.
So going back to that City game, guys. So we've spoken about Diaz, with the penalty. Lloris should have saved it. The second goal, the penalty initially wasn't a penalty. It was more of a foul by Gundogan. Let's continue with the incidents of the match. So then we go on to Gundogan's second goal. Lovely piece of play, very intricate. Again, though, should Lloris have saved that at the near post?
He should have saved it, yeah. He should have saved it.
Poor performance by
make mistakes. You said this before, Josh, didn't you? That he just seems like a keeper that just makes some mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was quite a strong figure, but people could argue that he's actually one of the reasons why Tottenham have just fallen off so badly this season.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is, but goalkeepers at big clubs now, I feel like they're losing concentration, they're losing confidence, and it's just ridiculous. It's like Alisson at Liverpool. As you say, he's lost confidence. Now, Lloris at Tottenham, he's lost confidence. Now, I feel De Gea has even lost confidence at United. You know what I mean? And these are big clubs, and I'm like, why are they losing confidence? And
well, all sorts of goalkeepers go through phases, but I think Lloris had a particularly shocking one.
And I think it's all down to the fact they need better quality in defence, and also the communication, and it's really. I mean, we all know. I feel like Alisson's failure is because he hasn't got the likes of Van Dijk, and who else is
Matip, Gomez.
Matip. Matip. Matip.
I mean, that can't really excuse the way he's been fumbling around with the ball and then running out like a madman. You can't just be like, well, Van Dijk's not here, so it's time to run. Like, what?
I do agree, Skander, but I think maybe it just goes to show Van Dijk was the one and only captain in that defence. Like, he was the strongest figure.
Oh yeah.
Was he telling the keeper, right, don't run out? And he's like, understood.
No, I think he was.
As soon as he's not there, it's just like, all hell breaks loose. No one knows how to defend. The keeper doesn't know how to play football. No one knows what they're doing.
It is quite shocking. I can just see like an image in my head of Van Dijk being like the teacher with the whiteboard and like all the Liverpool defence just sitting in front of him. So like, this is what you got to do.
When the ball's here, do not come out.
Yeah.
But when the ball's here, then come out.
Oh man, but yeah, like Lloris with a shocker there. He definitely should have done better with those two efforts. The third goal, though, I mean, wow. I mean, that's a great take from Gundogan.
What were doing? It was just a straightforward kick from the goalkeeper through the defence. I don't know what Sanchez was doing. It was absolutely shambles. It was a shambles at one point.
Do you guys think there could be an argument for a foul? Because like when the ball came to him, there was a clear shove like in the midriff of Sanchez by Gundogan, and then that led to sort of him falling over and then putting him in the back of the net. But do you think there's a slight argument for a foul? Because he did use his elbow there.
No, I don't think so. I think.
Explain your point a bit more. I'm just going to have a quick look at it again. I remember seeing that.
I'll explain my point then. So the ball comes obviously from Ederson all the way downfield, and I just feel like both players are at pace. So, I mean, when you're at pace, obviously a slight touch can be enough to bring you down, can't it? When you're at pace, when you're running and stuff. So, he's facing Gundogan. He turns him once, Well, no, I think this is before he turns him actually, and he just uses his elbow like very, very lightly, but sort of in the midriff of Sanchez. I'm just wondering, yeah. I mean, if VAR looked at that, given the amount of like soft penalties that we see being given nowadays, that could have argued being a very soft free kick to Tottenham, but they could have had a case really.
I see that. I mean, for me personally, I just think that's just contact. I think that's fine. I think that's contact that's allowed.
It just begs the question.
I think obviously in today's game, it might be being given as a foul, but it's one of those things. It's almost as if, well, hold on, look, it's the box, and it's the attacker that did it to the defender, so it can't be a foul. Yeah. That's the way I see it with the referees. If it was the other way round, then Gundogan would have been on the floor.
I mean, it is a clear shove as well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just watching it again, and it is kind of like, it is the definite shove, I think, from Gundogan. However, I should have mentioned that I am talking about, my argument states, because I'm talking about today's game. I personally think, yeah, it's contact. Football, get on with it. It's a contact sport. But in today's match,
it's a foul in today's game.
Yes, but VAR is very contradictory. That's what I'm saying. How can that not be looked at, whereas something really, really soft, say the penalty, is given as a penalty?
Well, Sanchez didn't fall down.
He did. Yeah, eventually
the contact was made, and he didn't roll around screaming.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that. I feel like that plays a part as well. It's almost as if referees and VAR will they'll see that, but they'll be like, well, he didn't fall down, so we'll just forget about it.
Yeah.
I just think that's ridiculous.
He didn't fall
but
down,
in today's standards, it should be a foul.
Yeah. And if we,
I don't agree with today's standards. That's me.
That could argue that if Lindelof in the West Brom game, if Lindelof had gone down holding his face and rolling around on the ground, then that could have been given as a foul. But so that,
I was thinking that.
by that same token,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, you're right there.
It's sad.
Right there.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad that the game is coming down to this now. It's come down.
It's been like this for a while. That's kind of why diving actually has become a thing, really, I feel. Referees just don't seem to give anything until a player is falling down screaming like a baby.
Exactly.
But it's true, though. It's true.
Yeah, no. I do agree. But just a final word on that game before we move on. Gareth Bale, when he came on, he showed signs of sharpness that we hadn't seen before. But a few decent moments.
Yeah, well,
for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. The only reason why I'm highlighting it was 5 seconds. Yeah, it was a short period of the time because he came on as a sub late on. But the only reason why I'm mentioning it is because we haven't seen any of that from Bale. We've literally seen him walking around the pitch this season, I think, and we've shown such disinterest from him, from a player we know has such quality. But in this match, when he came on, he actually looks like he wanted to fight for something.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he's just taking the season a bit easy. He has had injuries and stuff, and I do feel like he hasn't been risking so much. He's just sort of been trying to be a bit more safe, should I say.
Yeah.
So yeah. But there was 5 seconds where he was actually a bit like, he remembered how good he was.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, he needs to show more of that, 100%.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice if he actually scored though.
Yeah.
If he scored, then that it would, then we'll be saying, oh, he's a brilliant player. Oh yeah, he's playing more and everything. But in my opinion, they should be playing Gareth Bale more.
They're saying he's ruining his legacy right now. I mean, there's an argument to say that. I'd love to see Gareth Bale scoring again for Tottenham, just to sort of, because I know, everyone takes a mick out of Tottenham, but I think Gareth Bale, he's a legend at that club, and it'll be such a shame for him to, just finish his career in this kind of manner. I know he's not quite. He's
What's
not.
his contract? Is he on loan? Is he on loan or?
Yeah, he's on
Yeah, he's
loan.
on loan.
Yeah.
But he's getting paid loads to do. I think it's the money really side of things as well. That's playing a factor. He's like, oh, I'm getting paid for.
It is a shame though. Do you not think?
You'd start picking it up now. You would hope he would for if you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah. Because like
I do like Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
I do like him as a player, so I do want to see him back.
And I respect him a lot. I respect him a lot as well. Like the fact that he was at Madrid being slated by Madrid fans, and he still kept going. He still kept scoring. He scored wonder goals. He was never fully appreciated at that club, and he's just gone to Tottenham.
I mean, even when he scored in the Champions League final, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't even validate him. Didn't even look at him.
Yeah.
You know?
And then, like you say,
it's funny. You see in the celebrations, as you'd expect, he was right on the very end. You know, at the back, at the very end, when they were all celebrating. You'd think there would be like, you know, praising him, putting him in the middle, letting him out. You can take it first. You're the one who got the winning goal. The mad one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and this is the time when also Ronaldo was in the final with Real Madrid.
It would just be a shame to see Gareth Bale finish in this sense when we know how much quality he has. But you know, hopefully he kicks on from here. Going by the other results, we saw Burnley with an emphatic win away at Crystal Palace. Highlight of the goals in that one being Lowton, the right back, I think, on the volley. That was a great finish. But Crystal Palace with 3-0 at home. And I'd say recently, actually, Crystal Palace have been on a very poor run of form. Do you guys think this could be Roy Hodgson's last season?
Well, as Crystal Palace manager or as a manager?
Well, as Crystal Palace manager, he might be as a manager overall. I'm not sure how old he is, to be honest. He may think about retiring. I don't know, but like, do you think this could be his? Because he's been at Palace a long time. He's probably brought them to as far as they can go in a sense. But you know, this season they've dropped off a little bit. But you know, he's generally made them into a consistent Premier League club, hasn't he?
Oh yeah.
A team that always sort of survives.
Yeah. So
that's as far as I think he could take them.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know. Would Crystal Palace want to risk it, or are they happy?
That's the thing. Yeah.
Just sort of staying where they are, because Roy Hodgson is been fairly consistent with keeping them up. Not the most entertaining, but. He doesn't really try shutting up shop. That's the thing as well. He's not the most entertaining, but he does, you know. I mean, managers like him and Steve Bruce, you never really see you don't really see him going off to win something big or anything.
No.
But they always are around the bottom end, and they genuinely try to do their job in keeping their team up. But they both also try to play a bit of football with their teams. And I do think that is somewhat of a downside as to why they fall back a lot, because they're more exposed and not as good defensively. But I don't know. The Premier League is definitely getting really hard. There's a lot of top quality managers now.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're sort of stagnant.
Yeah.
Like him, they're both sort of stagnant.